Welcome and thanks for joining us to kick off Pivot Bio's 2024 sales season. My name is Lindsay and I'll be your host this evening. We're thrilled that you joined us as we share what's new and exciting at Pivot Bio. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers covering a variety of topics. We'll speak with Vice President of Commercial Operations Mark Reisinger about Proven 40 OS and Return OS and how new and existing customers are experiencing the power of on-seed. We'll also hear from Dan Poston, Vice President of Field Research and Development, about some remarkable third-party testing. Senior agronomic scientist Clayton Nevins will share some data from the field, proving that Pivot Bio's products truly are more dependable sources of nitrogen to growers across the country. Later in the program, we'll hear grower Travis Milne talk about his 5 years of experience using Pivot Bio products. Then, Senior Director of Application Development Keith O'Brien and his team will share some of the research and development behind the power of on-seed. President and COO Lisa Safarian will provide an update on Pivot Bio's current manufacturing and supply chain. She'll also share some exciting updates planned for 2024. Next, I'll speak with Randy Minton and Lori Reese about the new Innovator program, which provides annual benefits to companies striving to reduce their environmental footprint while creating a new revenue stream for growers. And finally, we'll see what a day in the life of growers Jenna and Levi Oshner looks like and how they rely on their support team from Pivot Bio. Our first guest is Vice President of Commercial Operations Mark Reisinger. But before we speak with Mark, let's hear from a first-year Pivot Bio customer, as well as a couple of growers who are experiencing the benefits of Proven 40 and Proven 40 OS.
So on our farm, we grow cattle. We produce 150 cow-calf pairs every year, alfalfa, corn, soybeans. We take a lot of pride in our ground of keeping it healthy, keeping the nitrogen where it needs to be, the nitrates out of the water, keeping the land productive for our future generations of farmers. A lot of our properties are in a high-level nitrate area that we really need to be cautious of how much nitrogen we're applying to our soils. A lot of people in our area are using Pivot Bio, and we're hearing good things. There's a lot of good data out there that's showing that it works as it's supposed to, and we're going to try it on a certain amount of our acres. Before we started using Pivot Bio, we were applying dry fertilizer early in the spring to get a little bit of nitrogen, and then we come with an application of anhydrous. So the use of the Pivot Bio product for us is very intriguing, to not have to apply so much of the nitrogen and to see the spoon feeding of the crop, that it provides a season-long nitrogen source instead of everything up front and hoping it's there when the corn needs it later in the season. So today we're out planting Pivot Bio Proven 40 OS. So far, the Proven 40 has been very easy to use. Our sales rep came and got the boxes, treated them at his facility, brought them back, and the planting process has had no change at all. The Pivot Bio on-seed really intrigued me just because you don't have to have the liquid system on your planter. So our rep has been very helpful, been checking in multiple times this season, making sure everything's going well, instilling confidence, making sure the seed's going well, making sure the treatment is there when we need it. They care about our success and that it works, and they want to see us successful with it. I feel very confident we're going to use Pivot Bio again.
I've been farming for about 15 years. My channel dealer first approached me about Pivot Bio, asked if we'd be interested in trying it. They were willing to work with me.
We have about 12,000 sows. We market probably 300,000 pigs a year. And on our operation, fair to finish, easy calculation is 10 bushel pig. We were in question whether we had enough nitrogen or not. Every year it was just kind of a guessing game as far as throwing out extra nitrogen out there. It definitely became more economical. If I put on Proven 40, I could reduce my nitrogen by 40 pounds.
What intrigued me the most about going to on-seed was basically they're doing the same product with the on-seed treatment as they're doing when we're doing the in-furrow stuff. The difference is it's being treated ahead of time by my dealer. It makes a little less work to not have to do that as much in that fall application. It's a little less often you're switching tanks, and it just makes it a lot simpler.
The plants that had the Pivot Bio, I mean, we had them in 2 different pails and took a picture, and yeah, you could see the one pail of corn that got Pivot on it was a lot taller, bigger, greener. and had a lot more biomass versus the other pail. I mean, it was definitely a noticeable difference. To me, a healthy plant is definitely going to stand a lot better than an unhealthy plant. And right now, the corn is definitely dark green, got a lot more mass to it, and it seems to be very healthy.
I plan to continue to use Pivot Bio in the future. It's worked really good for us so far. We saw great results last year. We hope to see the same great results this year. It's saving us some money on our nitrogen, plus giving us an extra application in there and reducing another one. It's something I can continue to use over the years to come.
I'm here with VP of Commercial Operations, Mark Reisinger. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Tell me about the power of on-seed and what it means for growers.
On-seed is a tremendous opportunity because it fits the practice that the farmers want, which is ease of use. They want to get to that field as fast as they can because we have limited windows for planting, and being able to put it on the seed creates convenience for our growers.
What kind of reaction are you getting from growers?
Very, very positive. There's a little bit of surprise that, hey, you can put all that volume of nitrogen on the seed, and once they experience that, they really like it.
What about reps? Why should they be excited about on-seed?
It empowers the reps to participate in an area of agronomy, that being providing nitrogen to their customers, that historically only the big iron retailers have been able to participate in. So we like the competition, we like the ease of use, the reps love it.
What are some of the challenges that growers face that on-seed tends to solve?
Speed. Getting out there and getting it done when they have those windows to plant. Farmers know that you have limited windows to accomplish what you need to do in the spring. We talk about you plant for dough, you harvest for show, if you're using that golf analogy. And being able to go fast because it's already deployed on the seed is everything to our customers.
Tell me a little bit about the support team that a grower gets when they go with Pivot Bio.
So whether it be the rep and helping them with their treaters to make sure that treater's ready to go at the beginning of the year, helping them in season and even helping with the clean out at the end of the season, or helping our customers better understand our technology as it grows through the early vegetative stages all the way to the reproductive stages to see the efficacy of our product. Our commercial agronomists and our TSMs, our territory sales managers, are doing a great job interacting both with our customers and with our reps.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
Next, we'll talk with Dan Poston, Vice President of Field Research and Development. But first, let's see what reps and growers have to say about the support team they have with Pivot Bio.
The Customer Success Center is responsible for the experience and success of our customers. The uniqueness of this CSC team is twofold. First, they proactively address customer needs through active listening and deeper dives of understanding expectations to help them reach their goals. They excel in relating and understanding the customer, so the customer builds trust in Pivot Bio as a company.
It's not just the commercial team, it's billing and invoicing, it's sales within the commercial, shipping within the commercial.
You've got a Swiss Army knife tasked with making sure that the customer has a great experience. Very few organizations at this stage in their life have a full team of people dedicated to ensuring their customer success.
Here at the CSC, we really bridge the gap between the corporate side of the company and those who are boots on the ground. We field inquiries from our customers and our growers, and we make sure that they're all set up, whether that's questions about how to use our farmer portal, our apps, whatever comes their way, and how to generally use the product. If we don't know the answer, we connect them with the right person that will give them that answer, whether that's an agronomist or their rep.
I need someone in the background making sure that logistically products arrive safely, making sure that this very volatile product gets stewarded properly. That way we know it goes into the field 100% ready to go, and that's what the CSC team really helps me with during the delivery process. It keeps me moving, keeps me selling, and I love people that I deal with when I only have to call them once and they understand what I need and get the job done.
They're always there to answer our calls and to get back to us even when they're busy doing other things.
As a sales rep, I really do appreciate the help that I get from the Customer Success Center. They just really are courteous, and it kind of is puzzling to me sometimes when you call and they just answer the phone and how can I help you? And I just feel like they're very genuine and they're wanting to help our business be successful.
Joining me now is Vice President of Field Research and Development, Dan Poston. Dan, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about what research we're doing at what universities?
We've partnered with multiple universities over the last 4.5 years as we've been building our product line. We were up to about 15 major land grant institutions prior to this year, and we're currently testing with about 23 institutions across the U.S. And all of that, Lindsay, is in addition to all of the research plots that we have behind the scenes. So they supplement what we do and become real partners in our product development process. They allow us to characterize products, gives us lots of testing environments, so they're a valuable tool for us.
Can you tell us what some of the key findings have been in the research?
The biggest things we have been able to do with those partners is take a specific environment and dial in how this product really works at that environment.
Interesting. Can you speak to how this product should be positioned and when you should actually measure a yield difference?
The yield difference we're finding is highly related to the level of nitrogen loss in the environment. For example, if you have a spot in the field that loses a lot of nitrogen either to leaching or denitrification, the micro will actually have a large measurable yield difference in those spots. If you have another spot in the field that is not losing a whole lot of nitrogen and the plant is getting all of the nitrogen it needs from the synthetic nitrogen source, then you may not be able to measure a yield difference at all. The value is very much associated with nitrogen loss. The bigger the loss, the more you're likely to measure a yield difference.
Now, what do you think all this data actually means for our reps and our customers?
Customers know which fields tend to lose more nitrogen than others. So now they can begin to target where they put the product on their farm or where they want to start trying the product.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan. Next, we'll meet the commercial agronomy team who's been hard at work gathering data from across the country. Then Clayton Nevins will update us with some product performance data.
Hi, I'm John West.
I'm Alex Obermeyer.
I'm Casey Kaplan, and I'm an agronomist for Pivot Bio based in Amarillo, Texas.
And I'm an agronomist for Pivot Bio based in Michigan.
Based in Brookings, South Dakota.
Based in South Central Nebraska.
Throughout the 2023 growing season, I'll be one of many Pivot Bio agronomists
out on the road and in fields like yours,
helping you get the most from your Pivot Bio products
and measuring their performance on your farm.
From root to tassel,
and from planting through harvest.
The entire agronomy team is excited to continue innovating
and share how Pivot Bio is delivering a better source of nitrogen to your crop.
And thank you for making Pivot Bio a part of your operation this year.
At Pivot Bio, we strive to be a trusted advisor on the farm when it comes to nitrogen. The key to doing that is measuring how much nitrogen is in the plant during the growing season. This year we visited with over 1,100 growers in 32 states and conducted in-season nitrogen testing that represents over 800,000 acres. This was the second season of our in-plant nitrogen study across the United States. At half the locations, growers replaced their nitrogen up to 40 pounds an acre and applied Proven 40. They also had an untreated check, which was the grower standard nitrogen practice. At each of these locations, we collected plants from the field to measure plant biomass and leaf chlorophyll concentration. These measurements were used to determine the in-plant nitrogen status between plants with Proven 40 and untreated plants. The results from across the country were incredible. This data shows that on average, we saw a 9% increase in biomass and an 8% increase in nitrogen when replacing up to 40 pounds of synthetic nitrogen. We're putting more nitrogen in the plant even when replacing 40 pounds of synthetic nitrogen. We saw the exact same results when analyzing the data from Proven 40 on seed. Plants treated with Proven 40 on seed had the same in-plant nitrogen advantage as plants treated with Proven 40 liquid in furrow. A big takeaway from this data is that Proven 40 is not only replacing synthetic nitrogen in the field, but it's actually delivering more nitrogen into the plant than the grower's standard nitrogen program. It also shows that our nitrogen is staying put, no matter the weather. Pivot Bio products increase plant nitrogen levels across a variety of soil types, management practices, and growing conditions. When combining data from 2022 and 2023, we saw an 11% increase in plant nitrogen. This illustrates consistent performance year over year. We know that growers are most interested in data from their local area, and we have local data available. Please feel free to reach out to your TSM for your local performance reports. In summary, Proven 40 is putting more nitrogen in the plant, not in the soil, and that's the way nitrogen performance should be measured. The past 2 seasons, we collected the same data for Pivot Bio return on several crops, including sorghum, wheat, and millet. We saw a 48% increase in biomass and 37% more nitrogen in plants treated with Pivot Bio return. We know that these crops are historically deficient when it comes to nitrogen, and it's great to see our products delivering a more predictable, productive, and weatherproof nitrogen to a variety of crops. Because Pivot Bio products produce plants with more biomass, we've seen great results when using Proven 40 on silage acres. While we're still collecting and analyzing silage data from the 2023 growing season, results from the last 2 years show us that treating plants with Proven 40 resulted in nearly 1 more ton per acre. This shows that Proven 40 increased biomass while maintaining protein and digestible nutrient levels. These results from fields across the country illustrate that both Proven 40 and Return are delivering a microbial nitrogen that's consistently putting more nitrogen in the plant. That's the way we think nitrogen performance should be measured. I hear a lot of growers across the country say that they know it works in the Midwest, but they want to know if it works on their fields. Here's a short video from the field showing the power of Pivot Bio products working across soil types.
So there are several benefits to using Pivot. One of the greatest benefits is the fact that we know that there are 40 pounds of nitrogen that are going to be provided to the corn plant throughout the season. So it's a zero loss equation. There's no loss when they apply it. And in our part of the world, in Northwest Missouri, we have so much variability in both soil type and climate. So in any 80-acre field, there could be 4, 5, 7, 10, 15 different management zones in that field. What I like that Pivot does is it levels out that field a little bit. So in the areas where nitrogen loss could be an issue or areas where root structure could be an issue, it sort of takes out the valleys, if you think of yield as peaks and valleys.
We pretty much farm hilly ground, flat ground. The soil types we have here would be what we call clay, red clay, bottomland, gumbo, sand, have a lot of sand. With big rainfall, with the leaching, and we do have issues with leaching in our types of soil. Proven solves the problem because it's there in the plant.
So with Pivot Bio Return, I'm excited to get away from salt-based fertilizers, I think. Synthetic fertilizer doesn't break down very fast in dry soils. In our dry conditions, that's huge, I think, to have that return sitting there in the soil. You get the plant off to a better jump start early, so that could be a huge benefit for the plant. Healthier soil and better yields.
We got a lot of variability of soil types. I mean, we got some light ground, some heavy ground. Probably our biggest challenge is probably the heavy black dirt when it gets a lot of rain. And that's one thing too with Pivot Bio is it gives me a little bit more comfort that I'm not worried as much about leaching to where I have to come back and maybe wide drop some nitrogen or something on the heavy ground.
Out here in western Kansas, far eastern Colorado, one of the problems we face is we have a lot of light soil. You know, with light soil comes leaching of your nitrogen, your sulfur. That is one nice thing about the Proven 40 is just knowing that, hey, I got 40 pounds of my budget, of my fertilizer budget, it's there, it's 100% efficient, it's gonna be there for the crop. But what I feel like is the worse the soil, the more impressive the product is gonna work for guys.
We have all different types of soils right here in Northwest Missouri. So we've got everything from like the blackest, stickiest gumbo dirt you've ever seen to some of the best made dirt in the world. And then up in the hills, lots of nice silty loam all the way into tiger orange clay. I mean, it's good, bad, indifferent, and everything in between. One of the nice things about Proven is it doesn't really matter what your soil type is because we're not, gonna be bound up by any type of soil. We're attached to your root. It makes no difference what the weather does, rain, shine, drought, flood, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a living root structure, you have a colony that is going to provide 40 pounds of nitrogen to that corn plant.
It's great to see how Pivot Bio's products are making a difference on so many different crops across the country. Next, we'll hear from Travis Milne, a grower from Central Missouri who's been a Pivot Bio customer for 5 seasons. Let's see how it's made a positive impact on his operation.
My name's Travis Millen. I'm from Oregon, Missouri, and I'm a 5th-generation farmer with my dad and my brother. I first heard about Pivot Bio from one of my business partners. She had been researching it, and then we started using the product. It's been several years ago now, but it was in the liquid form. So we've been using it for probably 5 years now, but just recently switched to the on-seed formulation. What I've learned over the years and what we do now on our farm is we try to replace the riskiest forms of nitrogen. Now we've switched to the on-seed formulation, and we have actually reduced our anhydrous that we put on in the fall by 40 pounds. To me, confidence is built over years. We've tested it for years on our own farm. We don't have to take someone else's word for it. We've trialed them on all the different types of soils that are in Northwest Missouri. And so seeing the different chlorophyll levels when we've tested it and the different plant weights and in some cases the different yield, that has built my confidence over the years. And then to boot, just to know that there's 40 pounds out there that no matter what, as long as we have a living plant, that nitrogen is going to be available to the plant. It makes no difference what the weather does, rain, shine, drought, flood, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a living root structure, you have a colony that is going to provide 40 pounds of nitrogen to that corn plant. The whole world is changing at a huge pace. My dad isn't farming the same way that my grandpa did, and we aren't farming the same way that, my dad farmed whenever he was growing up. And everything that everyone is doing is to try to make things better. If we have an opportunity to use nitrogen that's good for our soil versus nitrogen that's commercially made and may or may not be good for our soil, it's just the right thing to do.
In just a few minutes, we'll talk with President and COO Lisa Safarian about manufacturing and supply chain. But first, let's watch 2 short videos about Proven 40 OS and Return OS. Then we'll hear from the research and development team about all the work behind the scenes that brought this product to market. Take a look.
This Pro Box has enough seed to plant 125 acres of corn. Now, if you wanted to put 40 pounds of nitrogen on those acres, you'd need 1,200 gallons of anhydrous, or 1,500 gallons of UAN, or 5 tons of urea. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio.
Pivot Bio developed the first ever nitrogen-fixing microbial product for corn, Pivot Bio Proven, giving growers a better nitrogen in the field. Now, with Pivot Bio Return, sorghum and wheat farmers can benefit from this exciting new technology. With more nitrogen going into the plant, growers around the country are reducing their nitrogen rates while seeing increased yields and a healthier crop, giving them a new tool they can be confident in while supporting a more sustainable future.
Pivot Bio is really passionate about delivering a microbe to our customers that produces nitrogen that works well with what their current agronomy or crop production practices allow them to do. Really what Return OS is a better source of nitrogen for the customer that's not susceptible to losses during the season, and it's also more sustainable for the customer long run and also for the environment.
We're able to replace nitrogen with a sustainable alternative for the farmer, something that is safe for the environment, sustainable for the crop by delivering nitrogen throughout the season. We've had excellent results in the field, which has really driven a lot of interest from our growers to look into it more for this next season.
It's really crucial for us as a company to understand how our product performs under all the varying conditions that could possibly come. In Minnesota one year, it could be wet and cold. In Texas, it could be dry and hot. And so to provide that confidence to the grower under all these environmental conditions that our product's going to be there, it's going to perform, is crucial for the testing of the product.
We take it from research all the way to the customer. It's delivered to the customer from the sales rep. Often the sales rep will be that person who treats the seed because it has to be applied correctly and following our best practices to maintain the highest quality product of microbes on that seed to the customer.
We really ensure that when our products get delivered to the grower, that there are not going to be any issues.
Growers are really excited to get out in the field and try the Return OS product on spring wheat and small grains.
We're going to provide that efficacious product that can be planted and placed perfectly. We really provide the grower with the ultimate experience when it comes to planting and performance of our product.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. As we just saw from the R&D team, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes to get these products to market. As president and COO, you have a unique perspective on some of the big picture factors that Pivot Bio is facing. How is your team keeping up with the growing demand for Pivot Bio's products?
Well, one of the ways that we do that is we're continuing to expand our production facilities. So we're looking at additional contract manufacturing organizations that can then add volume to what we need to produce. And we're also putting in new and additional equipment into our St. Louis production facility so that we can continue the freeze drying of our microbes for our OS formulations.
Can you give us an update on the supply chain and what kind of innovative things your team is doing to keep up?
Sure. So we continue to make additions to both our warehouse in Chicago as well as in Omaha. So we'll be adding some packaging facilities, and that's going to really make it a lot more efficient, both for packaging as well as shipping. So we'll be able to get the product through faster and get it to customers even faster than we've been able to so far.
Let's watch a short video with Ty Cook from the Shipping and Fulfillment Center in Chicago.
Welcome to the Pivot Bio Shipping and Logistics and Fulfillment Center. Every box of Pivot Bio Proven 40 and Pivot Bio Return is packaged and shipped from this facility. At this facility, we have up to 2,000 to 3,000 boxes being made and ready to ship every day. On our outbound side, we have up to 8,000 boxes that can go out in any given day. Each box of Pivot Bio Proven 40 has 2 bladders in it, one of each strain. It's then packaged and sent off to the next stage. Our inner boxes go up the conveyor system, and then they come down onto this side to fall into a second box, which is the outer shell. Automation is key to everything we do here at our Shipping and Fulfillment Center. Packaging is no exception to that. Our palletizing arm allows us to be very efficient. It palletizes everything into 30 box pallets so we can put that on the racking for safe storage until we're ready to pick, pack, ship to each customer's specific orders. The benefit of automation is it allows us to scale rapidly while maintaining customer standards and getting everything out on time. We're really proud of the work we do here. We ship millions of acres direct to consumer, which is pretty cool. Thanks for being a part of Pivot Bio, and have a great season.
What product and warehouse improvements are you most excited about this year?
So from a product perspective, I'm really excited about some of the tweaks that we're making to our products. One of them is our OS product. We're going to increase its flowability, and we will have a standard 60-day life on seed with that product, and that will be consistent through the entire season. We've also moved the quality lab right into the production facility in St. Louis so that we can do our quality checks much faster than we've been able to in the past.
How has Pivot Bio positioned itself to strengthen supply chain and manufacturing processes in 2024?
So we continue to review everything from the year before. We continue to add more tests and really to make sure we understand everything about our product in the past, as well as the formulation tweaks that we're making for the future, which really puts us in a great position to deliver an outstanding customer experience.
Thank you, Lisa. Next up, we'll talk with Randy Minton and Lori Reese about Pivot Bio's new and revolutionary Innovator program. But before we do, let's watch a short video documenting a day in the life of growers Levi and Jenna Oshner and see how they utilize their amazing Pivot Bio support team.
Ready, boys? Whoa, your milk's gone. That's his favorite color.
What's your plan today, Levi?
You tell me.
Mike's gonna come over, talk Pivot Bio stuff, maybe look at some stuff in the field. And then Brandon, the TSM, is gonna meet us over there too.
I'm gonna go put the tire on, load the four-wheelers, catch you on the flip side.
Farming is special, and it's special to be a part of a generational farm. My husband's the 5th generation to live on this exact piece of ground. That's really special and something that is kind of takes a lot of work to preserve. Less than 2% of people live out here in rural America. It's just really something special to be a part of. Seeing that hard work that my husband does every single day and like the morals and the values and the traditions that our kids are learning at such a young age, it's just really special.
Hey man.
Hey Mike, how's it going?
Good, how are you today?
Oh, we're doing you.
Another day in the life, right?
Oh yeah, we're just loading up some mineral, heading down the pasture this afternoon and check cows. And you want to check out some corn this morning? Or
if you're willing to, I think we probably should.
I share a lot of our day-to-day life on social media over on Instagram, so I'm just gonna kind of follow the guys around. We're doing some Pivot Bio checks. Mike, our Pivot Bio dealer and good friend and neighbor, and Levi went in that field, and we're just gonna wait for them to come out with some side-by-side root digs so we can show the difference between treated and non-treated with Pivot Bio on corn. How many spiders did you see, Mike?
Yeah. Tried my hardest not to see any.
How'd things look out there, boys?
Not too bad.
Really good.
We're gonna really take a look at some of these ears. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Mike.
Levi, this is Brandon.
Hey, man, nice to meet you. How are you doing today? Real good. We're just out doing some field digs here, just with the product placement and kind of the timing and the Pivot Bio and everything working, kind of firing on all cylinders. We think it might be one of our better fields this year. So
I've been an agronomist for 18 years now, and very seldom do I see these additional, I call them bonus plants, really put on any harvestable grain. So the fact that we have essentially got one good ear and 2 to 3 bonus ears on this plant, I'm pretty sure that's going to really contribute a really good increase in yield.
Yeah.
Typically, these suckers, I rarely see them make it to this point even.
Right.
The fact that we put on an ear, not a big fan of tillers, but it's a healthy plant, healthy field, healthy environment.
Because Pivot Bio was applied, we enhanced our root mass.
Yes.
I mean, everything, it's finding more nutrients.
And it's keeping it happier longer.
I think we've got some things to kind of be excited about and look forward to. So thanks for letting us come out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Hey Brian, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, real good. So we were just pulling this up. I was just explaining to her, there's 36 rows right in the middle of this field. No Pivot Bio. We got Pivot Bio on each side. It's the same lot numbers, planted the same day, same everything. So that's the only difference.
Let's do a Reese and Evans check.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
38.5.
Yep.
38.8.
You're looking at about 11% difference in biomass on your treated plants versus your untreated plants. There's about an 8% difference in chlorophyll, which relates back to about a 7% difference in more nitrogen in your Pivot Bio plants than your non-Pivot Bio plants. You've got the same amount of nitrogen in both, but the Pivot Bio is continuing to feed that plant. Pretty comparable numbers, what I'd expect to see.
It's what I like is where we put less on and it still has more nitrogen in it.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you at harvest.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The biggest benefit to me as a farmer using Pivot Bio is the ROI.
It's a farm, it's a lifestyle, but at the end of the day, it's also what puts food on our table, and it is a business, so we have to be very mindful of that and being efficient and wise with our purchases.
At the end of the day, I got to make money to feed my family. I've got 3 sons, 6, 3, and 5 months, and it's busy. And honestly, this trickles back to Pivot Bio too, because if I can apply 40 less pounds of nitrogen on 1,500 acres of corn, we're talking thousands of gallons of fertilizer. We're talking passes and trips over the field. We're talking more time with me, being with my family, and seeing ROI. That's what really matters to me.
Farming today is more challenging than ever. Yield pressures, increasingly expensive inputs, consumer and stakeholder demands, changing climate. But farmers always find a way, because growing for the world isn't a 9-to-5. It's generations of life's work. For the past 100 years, farmers have relied on synthetic fertilizer to feed the world's growing population. This use of synthetic fertilizer comes with real consequences for soil, water, and the climate. What if you could be rewarded for better nitrogen? Innovator is Pivot Bio's program that unites companies with farmers who are replacing synthetic fertilizer with Pivot Bio's microbes to do just that. The result? A better solution that benefits everyone. Innovator pays farmers every crop cycle for using a nitrogen that's safer, easier, and more reliable. And Innovator's validated nitrogen replacements enable leading-edge businesses to create immediate, permanent change to their company's emissions profile. It's a solution that's all upside. That means no choosing between thriving farms or a vibrant earth. Because when we capture, strengthen, and share the value of using better nitrogen, we create acres of transformation.
Okay, thank you, Randy and Lori, for sitting down with us and talking about the new Innovator program from Pivot Bio. Let's start with you, Randy. Can you tell us a little bit about this program and who it's designed for?
Sure. Pivot Bio's Innovator program delivers annual benefits to companies that are striving to improve their environmental footprint. And it delivers a new form of revenue for our growers by documenting field-by-field use of pivot microbes in delivering a better form of nitrogen.
And Lori, what are the most significant changes that you've incorporated into Pivot Bio's sustainability program after the 2022 pilot?
So we've improved our farmer portal, which is where we collect the data, through enabling direct to grower platform connections through John Deere and Climate Field View. And then I'm pleased to say that we were able to reduce the required data requirements overall.
How should the Innovator program be positioned with growers, Randy?
We really see the Innovator program becoming a part of the total and full grower experience at Pivot Bio. We're going to deliver significant value back to our growers, and we want this to be a part of the overall big picture for Pivot from our growers.
How should you differentiate Pivot Bio's sustainability program from the others in agriculture?
Where we see ourselves being different is when you use our product and you replace your synthetic nitrogen, it gives you an opportunity to create that environmental asset in a single growing season compared to traditional carbon sequestration, which requires a multi-year commitment.
And finally, Randy, what does the future hold for commercial sustainability and the Innovator program?
We see a radical shift in the way we designed the program and the way we're moving the program, how we sell assets on behalf of growers to more of a downstream insetting approach. The other thing that's happening as we speak is that there are opportunities developing in the biofuel space. 45Z tax credit could also deliver significant opportunities downstream that could change the entire picture in regard to the amount of revenue and the opportunity that we see for our growers and for the program.
Thank you both for sharing these new exciting developments with Pivot Bio. Before we wrap up the show with Mark Reisinger, let's watch a trailer for Season 2 of Pivot Bio Originals and find out how you can win the ultimate ranch truck.
So Pivot Bio asked us to build the ultimate ranch truck and make it John Wayne themed.
Ready to win some money for this whole crew?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's get in. Why did you get started in farming?
I'm crazy. This is going to get me in trouble.
That's not a retirement, that's a responsibility.
I have nothing to hide. The good and the bad.
Farm Next will give you a glimpse of the exciting future agriculture has in store.
All right, so when you think of Wisconsin, what do you think of? Aside for beer and cheese and people wearing cheese while drinking beer.
I'm here at Gettysburg with 8 distinguished military veteran farmers. We're going to explore key leadership moments from this historic battle.
Hey farmers and ranchers, you want to win this, the ultimate ranch truck?
And listen, it's not just any normal ranch truck, it's the John Wayne Edition ranch truck. So if you want to get entered, click the link and get entered now.
Where is it? I want to click it.
All Pivot Bio Originals will be broadcast on RFD TV and on Pivot Bio's YouTube channel. You can also watch all episodes and find more content at pivotbiooriginals.com. Mark, this has all been about launch. Why is launch important?
Launch is the most important time for Pivot Bio. It gives us a chance to
work with our reps, and provide the best incentives for purchasing our product all year. This first 15 days of the year that we consider launch. It also helps us build a fermented product. We take a lot of orders. And we don't have a product that's built from synthetic nitrogen or fossil fuels. So when you have the opportunity to plan ahead, which launch orders provide, this is what makes Pivot unique. So we really want people to get out, put those orders in the next 15 days.
Thanks, Mark. And thank you for spending time with us this evening, learning about Pivot Bio, products from Pivot Bio, and the Innovator program. For more information about all this and more, head to pivotbio.com. Thanks again for joining us, and best of luck this season.